Hello everyone, welcome to the Strong Room at Museum of the Mind. My name's David, I'm the archivist here, and this is going to be one of a series of videos where we look at some of the treasures we have in the archive. And today what we're going to be doing is looking at our casebooks, these lovely things that you can see in red here. Our casebooks start around 1815 and extend up to 1948 when the hospital moved into the NHS. Up until then it was a private charity. And what we're going to be doing is looking at how these casebooks are set up and formed and the sorts of information you can find within them. So the casebooks are divided up by sex and by year. So these are the male admissions in 1887. And we're going to open it up and have a look at the information that we have inside. Okay, so we're going to open up and the first thing we see is an index. The patient with A down to Z there. The patient we're looking for is William Budd, who was admitted in 1887. So we turn our index pages to B and we look down for Budd William, and he is he's 40 in the book. The book's pages, if you can see at the top here, are actually sort of folios rather than page numbers. So we're going to find number 40, turn it nice and gently, 35, 43, 41, and then 40. Williams is not a standard entry, but it's got lots of information, and these are the things that you may find as you look through the casebooks yourselves. The first part of the casebook is information on what the hospital knows about the patient before they come into the hospital. So there's a bit about the patient's situations, what they're doing, whether they're married. There's also 2 copied medical certificates, and that's because Bethlem required 2 medical certificates signed by medical professionals before the patients could be admitted into the hospital. The hospital was determined to admit only those people who it definitely thought were ill. The second part is almost like an entry interview. And these are still information that the hospital takes today when it admits patients. So there's a bit about other diseases, about the family history. There's a bit about previous information from the patient, and William has been into the hospital before, so there's quite a lot of information here. There's also information about his physical state of health, because it was understood that there was possibly a link between physical health and mental health at this point. If you're really lucky, either here or on the next page you have a photo, and there's a photo of William. Now I know William's records really well because I've looked at them in some detail for our Change Minds project, and there'll be a link to the blog where you can find out more about William there. Okay, so second part is the hospital information. The third part are the progress notes, and this again is sometimes where you get lots of other information. And this is why Williams is quite a good one to look at, because you can see that the hospital has pasted in several other pieces of information. There's a letter, it seems, that's been pasted in full. So if we pull that out, it's in its original envelope. We can open up and have a look. And this actually appears to be a letter from William by the looks of it. Yeah, there we are, from William. And there's actually a piece of William's poetry here. And the progress notes quite regularly refer to William's poetry. The first part of the notes is always the sort of interview impressions of the doctor. And then afterwards, you can see they usually check on the patients around about once every month or so. So we have April 17th here, no change. May the 15th, no change. And what they will do is track the progress. They won't necessarily talk very much about treatment in these notes. They'll more talk about how the patient is doing. And that's because the treatments were usually environmental at this point. There's no such thing as sort of psychotropic drugs that can affect mood. We're some way off ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, being developed. And we're some way off things like insulin coma therapy as well. And we're quite a long way off talking therapies being invented in this country. So these progress notes are usually quite basic in terms of treatment. What there will be at the end though is what happens to the patient. And in this case, William is discharged uncured to Cane Hill, which was one of Surrey's large asylums, so they were not able to help him on this occasion. But again, you can find out more about William in the Changed Minds notes.